I believe there is an inherent jealousy and dislike that they've had toward Robyn. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Please subscribe and give this episode a thumbs up. One of the most beautiful seasons in Sister Wives history has to be season 19. The Brown family talked about Buser passing for the first time, and as viewers are well aware, it hasn't been a smooth sail. In addition, each of the four women is now coordinating their individual lives. The first three moved on to focus on their own paths. Although Robyn stayed with Cody after his wives deserted him, Cody did state that he felt as though polygamy had hit him over the face. In the filming of Mary, Janelle and Christine together has been difficult, since they are now spread out in 3 different places. But in the tell, they will all be living under one roof. The ad has been teased by TLC for a while, and fans have already glimpsed what Janelle and Christine are going to say to Cody. Additionally, the latter will eventually accept his faults in the tell-all and accept his own culpability. What is the expected premiere date of Tell-All? Sister Wives Cody gets roasted in Tell-All by Cody Brown. Christine was questioned by host Saka in the Tell-All promo. Whether or not she felt Cody had left behind Mary in retaliation, Pine expressed that Cody had left all 3 of his wives. She also shared her own suspicions that Cody and Robyn had been involved romantically before they got engaged. She then pulled out the engagement photo, which depicted Robyn and Cody as being close. Christine also revealed that Cody used to drive 3 hours every weekend just to visit Robyn. What was the purpose of him driving 3 hours just to meet her, if they were not engaging in physical activity? Then she smiled flirtatiously at Sakana. Discover that Sister Wives Season 19 will launch, and all the rest there had been a long-time rumour that Brown family would finally speak about Buser's death. They celebrated his legacy. Although they didn't reveal the details of what went wrong, fans of Sister Wives now look forward to the season's tell-all with eagerness. The tell-all season will have 4 segments. The conversation will be hosted by Sakanya Krishnan. When will the tell-all premiere? Then on Sunday, May 25th, Sister Wives Tell-All will air. It is set to start at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Pacific Time on TLC. Cody will sit down with Sakana one-on-one with each of the 4 wives. They will share their opinions and feelings about the families, their accomplishments and failures, and how the relationships have changed over time. Krishnan will also ask some questions to the Brown family. Some of the questions will be easy, but others can be difficult. Additionally, we'll see Cody lose his temper and tell Sakana to shut up his reaction, catch the host, and it will be compelling to see how she deals with him in the future. Additionally, Christine will reveal some controversial information about Robyn and Cody. However, Janelle and Mary are quick to reveal Cody's real nature to the public. The father screams and plays the victim as usual. He launches into a rant of how the trip has hurt him. He even tries to blame and frame his other wives for attacking him because he loves Robyn. During an emotional episode of Sister Wives, the Brown family is getting ready to bury Garrison when Garrison Brown took his own life. He was 25 years old. His parents are still mourning. You ever pay attention to how one little mistake of the tongue can ignite a gigantic conversation? That's what occurred with a podcast recently, and it revealed some profound insights. A mother, attempting to call one of her children, inadvertently used an incorrect name, a name associated with another family member, instead of her transgender child's preferred name. But what was remarkable wasn't the error, it was the reaction. Another relative gently corrected her, speaking the proper name and pronouns with care and respect. It was a small but profoundly significant act. Let's be honest. We all jumble names from time to time. Parents mistake their children's names, even substitute them for the name of the dog. It happens. That's not evil, that's human. And many viewers concurred. Intent is what counts. If one tries and then corrects oneself when one makes a mistake, then one is worthy of understanding, not judgment. This brought up the larger discussion. How do we speak about transgender individuals when we are discussing their history? Do we address them by their current name and pronouns? The overall consensus was yes, because they have been themselves the entire time. It just took the rest of us a little while to get with the program. Nevertheless, people insisted that each person is unique, and the important thing is always to honor the individual's own desire. These types of conversations are a good reminder that grace, love, and a desire to grow can take even the most uncomfortable moments and make them into more substantive relationships. But now let's change gears, because things get much more complicated when we're discussing Robyn and how she fits into the family. Here's the thing. Robyn always appears bewildered by the criticism she receives, particularly over the fact that her enormous house was paid for, at least in part, by the rest of the family. She likes to point to contributions she made early on, such as soothing Cody during Christine's labor or insisting on healthier eating habits for the children. And yes, some give her credit for it. Apparently the children did seem healthier for a while, but look closer and the photo becomes fuzzy. That austere food budgeting. Most think it wasn't to save cash for the clan. It was to have money available for vacations to Hawaii with Cody. Not a sacrifice exactly. And rumors swirled that TLC cash could have been covering the expense in the first place, so those sacrifices weren't really sacrifices at all. And then there are her more eccentric contributions, such as riding with Cody in his sports car or educating Marzi on managing money by leaving bills unpaid on the floor. Some of it was more about show than function. And when moving time arrived, Robyn didn't even pack for herself. The older children were left to take care of her boxes. Many saw this as a blatant display of lack of responsibility. It doesn't end there. There's a strange accusation that she gave everyone in the family cold sores, an accusation admittedly personal that contributed to a pile-up of tension. Then there was the infamous Flagstaff move. Rather than staying by the plan to rent adjacent homes until their land became available, they wound up in disparate houses, far apart from one another. Robyn demanded a huge private house for herself and Cody, leaving the rest to fend for themselves. This was regarded by many as selfishness, pure and simple, and if you think family roles were clearly defined, forget it. Some critics went so far as to liken Robyn's position to a sex worker without the work, a crass description of the fact that she commanded Cody's complete attention without really doing much for the family's daily existence. Others were speculating about greater dynamics, suggesting that there could have been something from their past that influenced how Cody now treats them. But the tension wasn't limited to the emotional level, it reached the dinner table as well. Robyn allegedly kept the food budget so tight that she'd mark up things in her fridge to keep other children whose mothers shopped for the groceries away from touching them. Reports emerged of birthdays where half a chicken breast was presented to growing children, but where money was being directed into luxury furnishings, pricey vacations, and mementos. This double standard, cheap on family essentials, indulgent on personal desires, grated on people. To be fair, Robyn did engage in some of the family traditions. She helped initiate a Valentine's Day fondue night, helped with spelling homework for kids, and occasionally served as a Cody translator when he couldn't get across to the other wives. But a lot of these gestures were overshadowed by larger concerns, such as her controlling stance in My Sister Wives' closet. While Robyn seemed to be the most emotionally attached to the business, some claim that she guilt-tripped the others into getting involved, playing on their emotions, without. Robyn made every effort to project herself as supportive and helpful, but her behavior had another story to tell. Amidst the complicated family dynamics, money stress, and individual frustrations, what we witnessed was a balancing act that never balanced. Initially, perhaps there were good intentions to be family, but subsequently, those aspirations appeared to get knotted with personal ambition, emotional manipulation, and a blatant disregard for shared responsibility. It's a stark reminder of how tenuous family roles are when folks don't keep their word and when resources and expectations aren't respected in equal measure. And that leads us to one of the largest ongoing questions. Does anyone really like Robyn? Part of that wondered if there's a silent majority out there who feel for her. Perhaps they view her as misunderstood. But as the series progressed, neutrality gave way to something more, and not in her favour. Individuals began to see patterns. She broke rules that were nominally sacred to the family's common beliefs. She heavily depended on the group's budget, contributing very little. That sort of imbalance irritated a lot of individuals. But the actual turning point for most came when Robyn purposefully blocked Mary from attending college, instead using family money to fund her own agenda, such as new wardrobes for the other sister wives, which she had under her control. It wasn't just infuriating, it felt intensely controlling. And then there was the refusal of therapy. Robyn just wouldn't cooperate. Some of them regarded this as a warning sign, assuming that she was afraid to be exposed. Cody just went on treating her like she was untouchable. As Mary's pain became more visible, Robyn's behaviour only became more difficult to justify. What appeared to be control increasingly was taken as self-preservation, particularly when it came to money. And sure, now and then you'd hear someone ask, well, maybe Robyn's just misunderstood? But honestly, there were very few who defended her seriously. Most viewers saw through the act. From the beginning, she seemed shallow, focused more on appearing young, thin, and desirable than actually being a good partner or co-parent. Remember the time she tried on clothes meant for the other wives, just to show off? That moment alone cemented how tone-deaf she was to the emotional dynamics in the family. Meanwhile, the original wives aged with dignity and continued to show respect for each other, even as things fell apart. Robyn, however, was a victim, always. She'd play the role of the only one suffering, the only one not understood, while the other women remained largely silent, until silence ceased to be their option. Even today, more than a decade into her monogamy with Cody, their love life doesn't appear very rosy. Her behaviour on camera has been described as manipulative and performative. She insisted on being the sole person who could translate Cody to the rest of them, 50 years of living with him and all, and as if they needed to be explained to. It sounded condescending and redundant. And let's not forget how far back her victim mentality went, so far as to allegedly instructing her kids to cry on demand. That was a shock to a great many people. It was uncomfortable to see. Around the time of the pandemic, her narcissism appeared to reach an all-time high. Some thought that Cody became fixated on her in a way that wasn't necessarily so healthy. It began to seem like she had emotionally and sexually manipulated him into being her exclusive focus, despite the fact that she may not have even loved him any longer. In the meantime, Cody hung on to her like a life raft, wanting desperately to be confirmed as everything else around him crumbled. More and more people began calling Cody out as well. His narcissism was not easy to ignore. He idealized Robyn for as long as it suited him. But when the other wives were out of the picture and the pressure began building, he began to lash out. At her, at the world, at everybody but himself. Robyn, despite all her mistakes, actually looked miserable at times, caught up in the same dynamic that she had a hand in creating. Some even sympathized with her. Not enough to forgive her role in the dissolution, though. It's a question worth asking. Did she ever really want to be part of an actual polygamous family? Or did she simply want Cody and the lifestyle without the responsibilities or relationships that went along with it? Her behaviour implies the latter. She never clicked with the other wives. She employed a nanny rather than relying on the so-called support system polygamy is meant to provide. She would not work, demanded control of resources, and emotionally manipulated others, such as when she guilt-tripped Mary out of returning to school. Perhaps the saddest moment for many of us was when Cody wouldn't go with their daughter to have surgery on her back during the pandemic. Robyn could have made him go. Say,